Everybody, I'm Kevin.
Hey, I'm Frank.
And we're going to wrap up the Guitar of the Week program. This episode, we got a couple more guitars to talk about, and we'll kind of wrap up the whole program. So don't go anywhere. We're going to wrap this all up tonight.
Go Behind the Headstock with Kevin and Frank. Two ex-Gibson employees talking about guitars and the guitar industry with an inside perspective.
All right, we're picking it up this week from week 43. In very familiar looking Explorer. Frank, who were we thinking about when we put this one together?
That one was Alan Collins from Lynyrd Skynyrd.
That would be correct.
He had an old Explorer with the vibrola on it. And I remember, one thing I remember about the way he used to wear it is he would put the strap over the top of the guitar.
Like that horn, yeah.
Yeah, it would go across the top, and it made it hang pretty good, I could imagine, you know?
Yeah.
It kept that from being in your arm's way, you know? It tucked that big arm in.
Yep.
And he had the old, Maestro Vibrola there, the spring. And so, yeah, we just did it with that. And that was like the same color as we did for the reverse V's, where we tried to make it look like Carina, because he had a Carina one. So we did the white filler and the amber.
I remember that they did an Alan Collins probably a year or two before this in the custom shop that was probably $10,000, right?
Yeah, they probably used Carina. Henry let them use Carina back then. We couldn't use it.
We pitched it with some of these guitars. We were told no.
Right.
We got told no a lot. And but this was us kind of fighting back, going, we can make it pretty damn close. Everybody will understand what we're going for here. And again, when we get asked by dealers and distributors, hey, can you make a cheaper version of whatever guitar it was?
Right.
This was Frank and I doing a really cool, affordable version of that Explorer with the short vibrola arm, because literally, other than what the custom shop ran, it was probably since 76 that we actually ran those through the plant. It'd been a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
That was a great guitar, in the vein of the one thing about this whole program was we were granted a lot of liberties we probably normally wouldn't have gotten. Some of this they would have been like, no way, you're not doing this, or we need to charge $4,000 for this.
There's one coming up where we totally took some liberties and gave a couple of middle fingers back to another division.
Yeah. Well, it was easier to get forgiveness than permission.
That is true. All right, let's go to week 44. Speak of the devil.
Oh, look at there.
Okay.
Slashing the cost.
This was basically we called this the Unburst. Now, guys who really know the original 58, 59 Sunbursts, you start to lose the red out of the top, and there's all different names for the different phases of it. There's Honey Burst and Light Burst, and when you get to the final stage, there's no red left, and jokingly they would call that Unburst.
Right.
So, again, we went to our friend Seymour Duncan, put double creams in an Unburst.
They were probably DiMarzio's, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say Seymour? They were DiMarzio. Yeah.
Those were the DiMarzio Super Distortions.
Yep, my bad. Those were DiMarzio's. I mean, this was us doing a cheaper version of a historic collection 59 Les Paul.
Right.
And you know what? We only did 400 of them, so we didn't get our hands slapped. We were in, we were out. No one felt spanked over it. But again, if you've been watching some of these episodes already, you'll know that the custom shop hit us with some blows through the years that we weren't allowed to make gold tops anymore. We weren't allowed to make Les Paul customs anymore. So, Frank, I'm sure at some point we were like, you know what? Let's punch them back.
Yeah. We were first, It was our guitars.
Exactly.
Who were they to tell us we couldn't make Les Pauls? you know?
Yeah, it's a standard. It wasn't a historic, it was a standard.
Yeah.
Which later on, the custom shop did want to take all standards away from Gibson USA, and we were like, that's going to be the fight to end all fights inside of Gibson. So, well, there's the back of it. Classic cherry.
Yeah, faded cherry.
So here's an example of back in the 50s, that aniline dye would bleed out.
Yeah.
And
like
that red dye would bleed from the neck, from the back, from the top. It would go on the binding and eventually completely just disappear.
That's what the back was that aniline dye. Yeah. The old ones. You used to say you couldn't wear a white shirt.
My 58, all of that cherry is long gone.
Right.
But it went through that phase. All over the binding, it went through that phase. You just got to play through it. That's what the old ones did.
Sure.
To the point where, here's a great example of a guitar through the years losing its burst. All three pictures show the same guitar. You have Peter Green in Fleetwood Mac, who had Greenie first.
Right.
And then Gary Moore had it, and you see less of the burst around the toggle switch cap. And now Kirk Hammett owns Greenie, and it's an unburst top. It's just yellow, right?
Yeah.
It's basically that, right?
Right. Yep.
All right. So week 45. Oh, this is interesting.
Oh, look at Kev. That was a young Kev.
That's a young Kevin Philbin in my office or in our marketing section of Gibson USA.
Yeah, up there.
So originally in week 45, we were going to do a Joan Jett Melody Maker. Joan was super cool to deal with. In that picture there, that's her playing at our CES booth in Las Vegas during the CES show.
Right.
And then not long after that, she sent us what I'm holding, that guitar.
Yeah.
And of course, we all took turns and played the shit out of it.
I can't believe that she would send it so willingly. And what a great lady she was, you know.
Yep. Joan was the best.
And we took it apart. Keith Medley and I, we took it all apart. We measured everything. The humbucker pickup was made by a guy named Red Rhodes.
Yep.
Was the Red Rhodes? I forget what they had. They had
was it the Velvet Ham? No.
Velvet Hammer or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Right. That was it. And man, what a pickup! It sounded amazing. And I understand why she's like, don't mess with my pickup. But so then that's when we came up with the Burstbucker 3.
Correct.
Because we made it to design it to make the same output as Jones.
Yep.
And I think it worked out good. She loved it. She
loved it, right? Great. She approved it.
Yeah. She said it sounded great.
Now, but we pulled this out of the Guitar of the Week program because we gave it the respect it deserved to be a full-fledged signature model.
Way more than 400 of those.
Than 400. So it's kind of a mystery out there where week 45 disappeared off the list, but that's the story on what happened.
By the end, it was lopping over into the other ones. Production was slow, and guitars weren't coming out like they were supposed to at the end. After 44 guitars like this, it was kind of running its course, so to speak.
Yeah. And we knew we could do something bigger with this, and we did.
Yeah,
right?
Joan deserved way more than that. Yeah.
And then at some point, she sent us a bunch of CDs and stickers and said, "Hey, throw these in the case with everybody. I want people to have a new album, stickers." A lot of other artists would have made us buy that stuff and put it in the case. She just sent it and said, "Please." It was from her heart,
wanted it to be on her guitar or have her fans to have the option to make it like hers. So,
and then
I wish they all were like Joan Jett,
totally. And then she came to visit us and made sure she thanked every single person in the plant and said thank you.
She walked through the whole plant. And, dude, I went to see her. She was opening up for Def Leppard And man, they rocked, man.
Yeah.
They just like came out in the beginning and just killed you. I never realized how many really good songs that she had over the years, you know?
A million of them, yeah.
It's like she played her whole opening set and it was all hits.
All hits,
like,
right?
Yeah, I don't think I ever really bought a Joan Jett album, but I knew every one of the songs.
Yeah. She had a ton of radio
really
hits.
Amazed, and she was so good and such a nice person. Took us backstage. We hung out. I got a picture of her backstage with all of us, Johnny and his wife, and Eric and Emily. Eric Marlowe, our good buddy, and Emily were back there. We were all backstage. She was really, really special person.
Yep.
Man.
Yep. She was awesome. Yep. She's awesome.
Great to deal with Joan.
Somewhere I got some pictures of Keith Medley holding this guitar, and maybe you, Scotty Mac.
I did. We did a second one that never saw the light of day.
Well, there was a black on black one, right?
But I did one that was marbled. I was gonna do it for. Well, maybe we could talk about that someday. The 2015 Guitars of the Month categories.
Okay.
And I had a Joan Jett in there, the marbled crimson, because crimson and clover, right? So
cool, yeah.
I did the marbled crimson, and it was cool. It was black and red, like the swirl finish almost.
Okay.
It was like a black and red marbled finish. Maybe someday we'll talk about that.
Yeah, I never saw that one. That's pretty cool.
Because I got let go before that program came out.
Do you have pics of it?
I do.
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about that then. All right.
I do have pictures of that.
All right, that's on an upcoming episode. The never before seen Joan Jett model. All right, we'll save that one.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. All right, so that solves that mystery of week 45. Let's go to week 46. Oh, wait a second. Well, I guess I mislabeled this. The next one in the series was the 3 pickup Les Paul Classic Custom.
Yeah.
We've talked about Classic Customs in some other episodes, right? We did some P90 versions and the one in white. So here's basically the Black Beauty version.
The Frampton Comes Alive.
Right. Again, everybody asked us. We weren't allowed to make customs at this point.
Right. And the thing about these is they were called classics because they had a 60s neck.
Yep.
So
which
really,
customs
they didn't
never
make a
had.
custom with a thin neck, right?
Yep.
So it was a chance to get that look with a thinner neck. So it made it sensible to do these things,
Yep. They sold great.
They made sense for as far as I was concerned.
Now, I can't remember, Frank, if I did the old I think it was Mickey Baker wiring.
3 volumes?
Yeah, 3 volumes and 1 tone.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't remember if the production models had it, but I know that the prototype.
I'm pretty sure we did that. Yeah.
Yeah, I had. Oh gosh, I can't remember his name right now, and I'm so sorry. But he was over in the repair shop. Super duper nice guy. He did the wiring for it and wrote it all out. Did the schematic for how to do the Mickey Baker wiring.
Probably Rico.
No.
He was in the repair shop.
Yeah, he was in with Todd Money and those guys.
Oh, okay, down there.
Yeah.
Phil Crabtree or something.
Phil. It was Phil, yeah.
Phil Crabtree, yeah. He was a good guy, yeah.
Oh my God, he's a prince of a person, man. Such a good guy. Thanks for remembering. I was embarrassed I didn't remember his name, but really, really good guy.
Yep.
This is us doing a James Hetfield 84 White Explorer. Look at that.
EMGs, hey, we threw the EMGs in there. Did it all white. Yep. So we were attacking in attack mode towards the end. But that's a cool guitar, man. Who wouldn't want it?
But again, if we're only doing 400 of them, like to some guitar companies, that's a big run. To us, that's a test market.
Yeah, right.
We got to test out all kinds of ideas with this, and then later on with the Guitar of the Month program, let's test some stuff out where it's very low risk.
And right? this was like the 84 Explorer body.
Yep.
You notice how the knobs aren't in a row and the switch isn't on the horn?
Yep.
Because we didn't want a pick guard on it. Like the
and then James famously had a sticker on here that said like more beer. You know, it was a total tip of the hat to him.
Yep.
Because it was a no-brainer. It's funny on this particular instrument, it's pretty yellow down at the bottom. It's like,
I don't know,
but not up at the top. I don't know if you can see that, Frank. It's like, it's as if his neighbor downstairs was a smoker and the nicotine was coming through the vent. Or something. I don't know.
Or whatever kind of deodorant he used.
Shit. All right,
lacquer,
let's go to...
Lacquer was always weird to deal with, man, you know. A lot of times it would bleed. The mahogany color would bleed through the lacquer on white. Yeah.
You know, that's an interesting point, Frank, because a lot of people would ask, and I'm going to go a little off script here. Whenever we did white guitars, we tried to do ebony fingerboards all the time because the rosewood would bleed into white.
Yeah, you couldn't use rosewood, right?
Like on Les Paul Studios, if they were white, they got an ebony fingerboard.
Right. Had to. Yeah.
But with V's and Explorers, didn't we always keep it rosewood?
Yeah, they did for a while. And then it just kind of bit us in the butt, man.
Yeah.
You know, ebony was expensive and harder to get, as we'll discuss in the future episodes. So, you know, we tried to keep the cost of these guitars reasonable, you know, because we wanted them to sell through, you know, but yeah, we tried exotic wood sealer. There was some sealers we bought that worked a little bit better than others, but sometimes that rosewood would just be bleeding all over the place, man.
Yep. We saw it. If you remember, we did a run. We used to have training sessions called Gibson Academy. And we used to bring in like the best of the best salespeople from around the country. And we did like a 3-4 day training session with them. We'd bring them through the plant. They would help build guitars. It was just an intense training session. And at the end, we would give them a satin white double cut, and it had a rosewood board on them. Those rosewood boards definitely bled into the finish, but they weren't for resale. They were gifts.
Right.
So, hey, by the way, out there, if you ever see a Les Paul double cut satin finish guitar with a rosewood board, that was a free gift. Don't overpay for it.
Right. But it was rare, you know. Those were rarer, you know.
Yeah, we didn't make a lot of them. That's true.
No.
All right, let's hit the next week. Here we go.
Wow.
So again, all through this series, we were hitting Silverburst like crazy. We had Silverburst SGs, Flying Vs. We just couldn't make enough of them.
Flying V, Silverburst.
They really took off. And
this guitar originally came in Silverburst, I think.
The RD?
Yeah, I think they had original.
It could have. Yeah.
And we used the Dirty Fingers pickups on this one, too, because that was from the 70s. The hottest pickups we'd ever made.
And at this time, there were guys playing RDs again. Dave Grohl. Maybe even Pat Smear, but there was just dudes playing some RDs out there. And again, we used this series as a vehicle to test the market. Look, if we make 400 of them, that's not a big risk. Let's see if people are really into buying RDs again.
Right.
So this was us dipping our toe into the pool again to say, hey, you guys serious about an RD? And they were. This thing sold out really fast. So we didn't have time nor resources to try to recreate all the different Moog electronics that some of them had, because people ripped those out anyway and had these huge cavities. Right. So again, let's just make it a standard. It's accessible. It's about the look at that point.
Right.
Tested the market out.
I remember Chris Novoselic played an RD bass.
Yep.
And we made him one, and it got taken in the flood.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, not in the flood. It got taken in the raid.
Oh.
It had an ebony fingerboard on it. I had his prototype upstairs.
And it was in whip? Oh, okay, yeah.
No, it was my prototype up in the engineering office.
So they even took stuff out of that office too, huh?
When ICE came up and they was like, "Hey, is that an ebony fingerboard?" I was like, "Well, yeah, I didn't lie. Guy was holding guns on us."
Wait, it wasn't ICE. It was Fish and Wildlife.
They had ICE jackets on, though.
I thought it was Fish and Wildlife.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. That's another episode. Yeah, we'll cover the raid with some guests. That was
somewhere out there is one.
That was a day I'll never forget.
Oh, you and me both.
There's so much to that story. That might be a 2 or 3 parter, right?
Yeah,
all the crap that went on.
Into that one, yeah. We'll get some
all right.
in.
Well, cool. So that's all the guitars in the Guitar of the Week program. See if I can stop sharing there. Hold on.
That was 2007.
Yep. And then the next year we did a Guitar of the Month program.
Yeah, it was just much the weeks,
We'll get into that a little later on. I think we need a break from all the Guitar of the Week and Guitar of the Month stuff. We'll put some other episodes in the middle, but again, some of the lessons that we learned doing this was it was a lot of guitars that just didn't stop coming every Monday. And by the end of the second quarter, coming into the third quarter, we started to build up some inventory of the past Guitars of the Weeks that were already old and out of people's minds. And we had to I have several different price lists of, we started to do some discounts on models that were sitting around that we did do 400 of that people didn't exactly go crazy for. But most of them did fine. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
But there was a point where, we got to the end of the year. We're like, all right, we had Tom Morgan's around. We had some.
Right.
Tom Morgan's was probably the hardest sell because it was so different.
Right.
But they're all out there now.
Nobody knew Tom.
No.
And, Henry wanted to make him famous, or infamous. And he's still working there.
Yeah.
Still working there. So he's still painting. He's doing a lot of custom stuff for him now. So, he's a good painter and a great person. And, that was the thing about Gibson, man. It was so full of great people,
It probably still is. We know people there, not everybody. It probably still is.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure.
I'm sure. Well, I'm sure I probably know about 30% of the people there now.
Right.
Still there, 25 to 30. It's been 10 years now since I got let go. So
the other thing is, we were going to try to do like a recap and the Guitar of the Week by the numbers, but there's so much data to crunch. And plus, some of the sales bled over into 2008 from 2007. Right. It would literally take us a month to crunch all the numbers and come up with any kind of reasonable conclusions. But we just don't have time to do that. But I want to put it out there. If you're interested to know any details about your models or how many actually were made and sold, please email us at behindtheheadstock@gmail.com. But first, subscribe to the YouTube channel, please.
Subscribe to our channel.
Yeah, please. We're happy to help. We're happy to talk about it. So just reach out to us. Hey, even if you have any episode ideas or you got questions about what it was like to work at the plant, what it was like to work at Gibson, just overall, keep those emails coming. You guys are reaching out to us and communicating with us. We love it. We really appreciate you watching. So there's a lot more to come. So stick around.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Go Behind the Headstock with Kevin and Frank, 2 ex-Gibson employees talking about guitars and the guitar industry with an inside perspective.